On the show, in Wheelspin, we drive the Mercedes-AMG GT. In Wheelspin, we drive the recently upgraded Mahindra XUV 500. In Launchpad, we have a look at the Maruti Suzuki Celerio as it is launched with a diesel engine. Finally, and I say finally, with this AMG GT, Mercedes has got it right, and they did manage to put a proper sports car on the roads. This is not one of those cars which has the AMG badge sticking on it and an engine which is overjuiced and the chassis just can't handle the power. Instead, this is a car where the chassis, the suspension, the tires are all in sync with the engine. And the 510 brake horsepower that this monstrous 4-liter bi-turbo unit produces is all actually put to the road through the wheels. And this has become an immensely drivable car. This is called the AMG GT. Now you might as well ask, why is it called the AMG GT and not GT AMG? The reason is simple. This is one car which is completely unapologetic about giving you nothing but performance. A true sports car. The AMG GT is powered by an AMG engine, and if you thought that AMG was just a tuning house which provided the extra punch to Mercedes cars, then it's time to think again, because this car has been designed grounds up by AMG, even though the design brief came from Mercedes design boss's office. For the rest of it, like engineering, chassis and architecture, it was AMG's expertise which helped develop this as a successor to the SLS AMG, which has possibly been the most successful sports car from the Mercedes stable. Mercedes calls this front mid-engine car, which I think is a rather unusual term, because when you hear mid-engine, you also presume that the engine is mounted in the rear, but not so in this car. When you open this huge bonnet, you actually find this is so. The actual engine positioning here starts from here. All this part carries components which do not add weight to the front axle. Even the gearbox has been moved to the back, which means now that this car has a much more even weight distribution, 53 to 47, and this again means that this will really handle like a true sports car. The AMG GT under the skin too is a true sports car which has used a lot of lightweight material to shed weight and make it fast and dynamic on the straights as well as around fast corners. What it uses is an aluminum body for most parts mounted on a space frame, with some touch of magnesium in the front parts of the car to make the weight distribution even. In fact, if you start driving the AMG GT, one thing you instantly realize that everything in this car is very alive, including the steering wheel. The steering wheel gives you a lot of feedback as you go through the turns and the curves, and on a winding road, you know exactly where the wheels are, and the braking system too is very good. And I think the idea of putting an engine which is mounted in the front, but it's somewhat of a mid-engine car because it's been moved back, has really worked well, because the weight distribution ensures that the handling here is very neutral. You do not find too much hint of an oversteer or even an understeer. And as you chuck the car around the fast sweeping bends, you realize that this is a car which does exactly what you want it to do. And that is what puts it in the supercar league. And I think one of the best things about this AMG GT is that it's also a car that you can actually drive to work on it. It's made it to an automatic transmission here, which of course gives you a comfort mode as well as a race mode. The double wishbone suspension all around tells you that the DNA of this car is motorsports, and of course that is to be expected from anything that was born in the AMG factory. And you also get an option of ceramic brakes to reduce the brake fade and make it even lighter in terms of the weight. The ESP is 3-stage to allow you a nice degree of freedom and let you test your driver quotient. the car into the race mode here. And not only the sound doubles up, but you realize that this has certainly transformed itself into a completely different animal. Something that will do you proud on the racetrack, even if you're not as great a driver as Lewis Hamilton. But as I said, she also has a comfort mode, and once you slide her into the comfort mode, she becomes quite subdued. And this is what will help you drive her and get the best fuel economy out of it, and of course, drive without getting too much attention. That is, if you don't factor in the way she looks. The engine is mated to a 7-speed double-clutch automatic transmission with different modes and a paddle shift to play according to your mood swings and have a full feel of the car. The engine mounts are adjustable in terms of the flexibility they offer, and in the race mode they do stiffen up sufficiently to make the car a crisp handler. But in the race mode what you also get is a pronounced oversteer, and you happen to be just an aspiring weekend boy racer, then you'd be better off to leave it in the comfort mode. And if drifting is what is on your mind, then the race mode is what will produce plenty of smoke from the tires every time you hit a corner. In terms of ergonomics, she is quite nice. In fact, feels like a regular top-end sedan. It's not too drastic. The seats are bolstered very well, but at the same time, they are very comfortable, wrapped in good quality leather with multiple adjustments. So actually, you can relax while driving, which is not very possible in a supercar. But as far as the engine output is concerned, the 3.8 seconds 0 to 100 of course catapults this AMG GT into a supercar league. But now it's time for me to put this into the race mode once again, because I got a nice stretch of road ahead, and see what she is really capable of, and of course hear this beautiful music. The exhaust, of course, comes with the variable flaps, which make sure that if you put the car in the race mode and then you flip the throttle, you hear the best music you can hear in a car. The AMG GT comes in two variants, the GT and the GTS. While both use the same V8 bi-turbo 4-litre engine, the GTS is the one you'd like to have, as it delivers more power, more torque, and of course better brakes, and a wider set of tires to make them stick. And it is the GTS that we drive today. 510 brake horsepower and 650 Newton meters of torque is a nice option on a road with sparse traffic and hopefully no speed cameras. And the drive becomes even better when you go through a few quick corners winding through a nice forest road. Just what you need for a fast car with gorgeous looks. Only thing I wished for at times was the desire to drop the top down and take in some fresh air. But this is unfortunately not an option in this car. The AMG GT might give an impression of a big car, especially as you look at it from the front. But when you bring out the tape, you'd be surprised to find that it's rather compact at around 4.5 meters, which again essentially makes it a two-seater sports coupe. But fear not, even if you are built along the lines of an army tank, because there is plenty of space inside for two people. The interiors of this AMG GT is like a true sports car. Low seating position and seats with plenty of lateral supports to hold you under fast cornering, a small steering wheel which is of course flat bottom, and an instrumentation which is really sporty and very visible. But being a Mercedes-Benz, it has also thrown in an element of luxury as well as practicality. We have a navigation system here, and there is a liberal dose of chrome all over the place to brighten things up. Overall, what you get is a heady dose of performance as well as luxury, and you will really like the interiors of this AMG GT here. But keep in mind that this is a two-seater. But having said that, let me tell you, there is plenty of space for two people in the front. And there is also enough space for luggage in the boot, which is very difficult to find in many other sports cars. So what do you get if you do decide to buy this AMG GT? Firstly, a car which is really a great looking car. Secondly, she delivers everything she promises in terms of performance. In fact, this is a nice addition to the Mercedes-Benz stable in terms of a sports car. And if you have performance on your mind, then go get this car. You'll be happy with what she delivers. The AMG GT as of now is not available in the Mercedes portfolio in India, but it should arrive before the year runs out. But with an engine like this and a true sports car-like styling and the AMG badge, ownership will be restricted to the few with fat wallets, as I'd expect the price to be somewhere in the vicinity of rupees 2 crores.